Welcome to Resource PNG. This week, Oil Search released its full-year report for 2016. A highlight of its activities, record production from its operations. Much of this was underpinned by continued strong performance from the PNGLNG Project. Here is a look at Oil Search's performance in 2016. Mr. Botten, congratulations on Oil Search's performance in 2016. Please provide us a snapshot of the results.
Yeah, sure. Well, genuinely, I believe it's a very strong operating result delivered over the last 12 months. Firstly, we recorded record oil and gas production of something over 30 million barrels of oil equivalent. That's 3% higher than 2015. And I say that's a record for the company since its startup in 1929. So it really is an outstanding result and underpinned by excellent production performance from PNGLNG and also very solid oil production from our oil-operated fields. It was a really good result in that respect. We also saw, like all oil and gas companies, a continuation of driving further efficiencies in our organisation and taking out costs. And we saw a reduction of around 16% of our unit production costs from about $10 a barrel of oil equivalent to about $8.50. And we'll continue to look for efficiencies that match the oil price and gas price environment. One of the highlights of 2016 was a strong upgrade in the reserves and resources that underpin our future growth and the sustainability of the company. So there's been a 49% increase in proven reserves in our fields and a significant uptick in our contingent resources, which now gives us the platform for pursuing optimally LNG expansion. We've also had some successful drilling in the Antelope field, and that again looks encouraging in terms of resources. And we also had some significant wins in terms of the development options that might take place for the next phase of LNG. Overall, a really strong performance, and one attests to the stability of our business in PNG and underwrites, as I say, our future in how we further develop LNG and continue to produce oil.
Oil Search has worked with the government through the tax credit scheme. Maria House has been completed, as we all know. APEC House is in the pipeline. Any other projects that Oil Search is looking to work with closely with the government?
Well, look, there are a number of things that we look at regularly, and we obviously have a range of tax credit projects associated with our communities in our existing operating areas. They'll continue. They involve roads, schools, supportive health and health centres, and that'll continue. Obviously, our ability to do this is impacted by the strength or otherwise of the oil and gas price, but at the end of the day, we recognise that we have to work with the national government, provincial government and our communities to help facilitate the delivery of services and infrastructure. We're certainly keen to work with the government on roads and ensure that they are maintained. But that's an ongoing discussion that we have with government, but we do want to play our part on the back of the availability of tax credits.
In 2017, what is Oil Search's biggest challenge, and what will Oil Search Limited be focusing on?
Well, I think firstly, the next 12 months is very important for us as a company, but also to the country, as to how potentially the next phase of LNG development can take place. There clearly are a number of issues that need continued work, which is to ensure that the existing PNG LNG beneficiaries receive their benefits, appropriate benefit streams, that they get comfortable with the ownership structures, and that process is seen to work. But the next 12 months is very clearly about how fields such as El Cantaloupe, fields such as PNG, can potentially be brought into development and commercialised, and continued appraisal of the Muruk discovery is also important for us. We'll clearly have to manage our business through the election cycle. Sometimes that can be quite tense, but again, this is certainly my fourth, maybe my fifth election, and I think we're able to manage that reasonably well with the support of our landowners in our project area. So very much a focus on building the business, emphasising the potential development of the next phase of LNG, sorting out some of the issues that are outstanding on our existing project, and continue to build our business through exploration, all of which I think gives us a great platform for further growth. We've got a very strong balance sheet. We actually paid back debt last year and built our cash position. This year we anticipate we'll be investing a little bit more money on the things I've discussed, but it really is a great opportunity to continue to build the business in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you, Mr. Botton, for taking time out to speak with Resource PNG.
Great to speak to you too. Sorry I can't be there in person, but this week is about servicing the international investment community. But anyway, thanks for your time.
You're watching Resource PNG. After the break, Thomas Abe and the new direction for Komal Minerals. Welcome back to Resource PNG. 2016 marked a strategic change in direction for the state's nominee within the mining space, with Komal Minerals commencing operations. Formerly known as Petromin, Komal Minerals has seen some key changes, with a new board and management team now in place to harness opportunities within mining on behalf of the state. Thomas Abe, Managing Director of Komal Minerals, spoke to Resource PNG recently on the direction that this key body would take going forward. You're watching Resource PNG. Now we have the company of Mr. Thomas Abe, Managing Director of Komal Minerals. Thank you for joining us on Resource PNG.
Thank you.
2016 has been an interesting year for Komal Minerals. For the benefit of our viewers, are you able to share what the company has done over the past 12 months?
Yes, it's been a year of implementation of the Komal agenda. And we've been quite busy in transformation of Petromin into Komal Minerals, transfer of assets, reorganization, realignment, downsizing the company to prepare for our new mandate. And so that has taken up a lot of time all throughout this year.
Now, in addition to that, there has been decline within mining activities in Papua New Guinea as well. Has this affected Komal Minerals in any way, and what have been the steps taken?
It's cyclical. The government is going through that period of low commodity prices, but it's also an excellent time to reorganize, downsize. We're in for the long haul, and so that requires cutting down our cost, even our manpower, and to reposition ourselves as the mineral company of the government to effectively carry out our mandate.
Now, Komal Minerals holds the state's equity in one particular project, the Solwara 1 project. It is the first of its kind anywhere in the world. There has been some delays over financing for this project. Has this been frustrating for Komal Minerals in a sense?
Yes, that's the only asset that we have, and it's an important one, and there's a lot at stake. We've fully met our obligation, our 15% interest in terms of sunk cost and operational cost obligations. Our partner has yet to fully meet their obligation. It's a concern to us. I mean, we do appreciate that it's difficult times to raise funds, but we are working closely to ensure we manage any cost overruns. But yes, if the project is delayed, then it will be a big concern to us. But we're trying to manage those issues with our JV partner.
2016 has also seen the application of 2 SML licenses for Frida and Wafi Go Poo as well. Is Komal Minerals conducting your own assessments into the viability of these projects?
We certainly reposition ourselves. Part of the alignment, part of the resetting of our business plan is to focus on that mandate to be a strong commercial partner and to prepare for those big equity projects. Once OTML is transferred to us, we'll be signing a service agreement with the company, and we'll leverage the expertise so that we can assess those projects.
You mentioned OTML. It's the head of its operations now, Mr. Peter Graham, has been appointed chairman of Komal Minerals. What experience has he brought to the board, and how have you seen the change in direction of Komal Minerals under his leadership? I think it's a good appointment. We're sending the right signals to the private sector. We're sending the right signals to the industry that we are serious. And with his wealth of knowledge and experience, it will be good for Komal Minerals under his leadership. I think we can engage effectively with the investors, especially as we prepare to engage with developers of Wafi Go Poo and also Frida. So yes, I think it was a good decision by the shareholder. Now, there have been some proposed changes to the Mining Act, and this would obviously have ramifications for Komal Minerals with its mandate. Are you able to share the challenges that would need to be worked out in the coming months? The industry has provided their concerns, and the Prime Minister at the mining conference has stated that it wants to further engage with the industry and carefully go through those issues of concerns from the industry. For Komal Minerals, we have certain issues, and we have taken that up with the department, and hopefully those issues will be taken on board, especially issues related to our role as the state nominee. We don't want a situation where in the future there could be another company engaged with some of the companies in the mineral sector. I think some of those concerns are quite genuine, and so we've drawn it to the attention of the department, and we've been assured that those issues will be addressed together with other concerns raised by the industry. Yeah. Mr. Abe, 12 months from now, where would you like to see Komal Minerals? I'd like to think that in the next 12 months will be a stronger company with the transfer of OTML, the BCL shares, and also Highlands Pacific. I think that will strengthen our balance sheet and have that confidence to engage with the investors in the industry. With a new board and under the leadership of Peter Graham, I'm very, very confident that in the next 12 months we will do well. On that note, Mr. Abe, thank you so much for joining us on Resource PNG. Thank you very much for the opportunity. You're watching Resource PNG. Up next, an update on Wafi Go Poo. Welcome back. In 2016, Wafi Go Poo Project submitted its special mine lease application to the state. This would trigger several activities by state agencies to ascertain whether this application is granted. Wafi Go Poo has been touted as one of the next 2 big developments in the mineral space in the country. Resource PNG spoke with Brian Bailey of Harmony Gold, operators of Wafi Go Poo, on the project's developments.
Hello and welcome to Resource PNG. In this edition we have Mr. Brian Bailey, the Executive Project Director of the Wafi Go Poo Project. Thank you, Mr. Bailey, for joining us.
It's only a pleasure.
Mr. Bailey, 2016 has been a somewhat quiet year for mining in Papua New Guinea. How has your company responded to the current situation in the market?
I think certainly, with the depreciating commodity prices and the pressure that that's putting on the industry as a whole has made us step back and have a rethink of how we do things. And in doing so, ensure that what we define going forward will underpin mining operations that are sustainable in a low commodity price environment. I think a very strong focus on cash and how we're spending our money and what value are we getting for the money spent to ensure that it adds to our objectives going forward. And in the context of the Wafi Go Poo project, we've spent significant amounts of money up until today, and we'll continue to spend a lot of money going forward. And therefore, it's even more important for us to understand what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, and how does it underpin project success going forward.
There are hopes that the metal prices will reach the highs that we experienced in the mid-2011. How is your company preparing for this?
I think the depressed commodity market lends itself to a wonderful opportunity. I think our learnings from the past will tell us not to design and build new mines that are expensive to operate, and that what we do now in designing a mine that is a low-cost producer should be our key objective. And should the commodity prices change and improve in strength, and well, then the mine should be highly profitable as a consequence of that, rather than designing for something that's significantly expensive and will barely survive in a high commodity price environment. The objective is to design something that is profitable in a varying commodity price environment.
Good news for Wafi Go Poo this year with the application of the special mining lease. Do you have a preferred expectation when you should receive a decision on this application?
Yeah, look, the special mining lease is a significant milestone for us, considering various companies have been at Wafi Go Poo since 1977. For us, completing a feasibility study to have a special mining lease application put in August is a wonderful outcome. We hope to secure the permits within the timeframes that are typically experienced within PNG. We appreciate and respect that the regulators need to do the right thing in assessing the project and affording us our permits so that the people of Papua New Guinea are confident in what we're going to be doing. Obviously, for us, the sooner we get the permit, the better, as it would be. But certainly, we'd like the government and the regulators to follow due process in assessing our application.
Now, the Wafi Go Poo project is perceived as one of the two major projects in the coming years, in the vicinity of $4 billion, with $2 billion injected into the local economy. In terms of local jobs for the local economy, how does this present itself?
In the context of our special mining lease, we've put together a national content plan. And that national content plan gives us guidance in how we should be leveraging off the PNG value proposition, both in terms of service providers, contractors, and local employment. In the context of local employment, the project will offer opportunity for employment through the construction phase and the operational phase, with the construction phase indicating that it will need in the region of about 1,400, 1,500 people to construct the facility over the 95-month period. Once the mine gets into production, however, the operations workforce is about 600. So 500 to 600 people will be required to operate a mine like this. So there is a drop-off in employment opportunity, but the mine's going to be around for 28 to 35 years, and if not longer. So we certainly hope that through employment on the mine, in the construction phase and operation phase, there'll be value brought to Papua New Guinea. And I think the key thing there is, if people earn incomes, that money is able to be spent elsewhere. So therefore, there's a number of other spin-off benefits from a project like this.
Wafi Go Poo is predominantly an underground mine compared to open cut mines. Are there any unique challenges that you face?
Most certainly. I think for this particular mine, you know, in Papua New Guinea, which is a high seismic environment, a high rainfall environment, a hot environment, building an underground mine requires us to deal with those challenges. In particular, having access to bulk power that's reliable. We're going to need to pump a significant amount of water out from underground. We're going to need to pump a significant amount of cooled air underground to keep the workings cool. So therefore, power is a big challenge for us in building this mine. Building any underground mine comes with its risks and its challenges. We feel we're very experienced in that space through Newcrest and Harmony to be able to mitigate most of that risk. But nevertheless, it is a construction project that will require us to stay focused on safety.
In terms of the effect on the environment, are you able to share any information on the level of impact on the local environment?
I think first and foremost, from an environment, social and cultural heritage point of view, we've established very good baselines. So we understand the environment we're going to be developing this project in. And we'll be using those baselines to assess the impact of the project. A key objective of ours was to minimize the footprint of the mine and make it as compact as possible so that we did minimize the impact on the environment in our local communities and through that be a responsible mining company going forward. We do, however, have a footprint that is small at Wafi Go Poo site as such, but it does extend right through to the lay itself for concentrate export. So we've tried to minimize the footprint on site, but also narrow down on the corridors for our infrastructure between the project area and lay as such. In terms of overall impact on the environment, of course there will be an impact on the environment, and that would be defined in the context of our permit application, and then our environment management plan would provide us the guidance on how we're going to look after the environment, social and community space of the project.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey, for your time here on Resource PNG.
It's only a pleasure.
And that's all we have time for on this episode of Resource PNG. If you have any questions or comments on anything on our show, please email us on the address now showing on your screen. For industry updates, you can check out our Facebook page as well as follow us on Twitter. To view this episode online, log on to the EMTV website where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. From the Resource PNG team, enjoy your viewing. We'll see you again same time next week. Until then, it's bye for now.